Previously, we talked about noun, the definition of noun, the types, and usage. So today we are diving into pronoun. Pronoun is very important to understand the concept of pronoun in English language. So guys, we are starting with the definition of pronoun. You need to know the definition. And what's the definition of pronoun? Pronoun is used in place or to replace a noun to avoid repetition. So let's dive into it. So pronoun is used to replace a noun to avoid repetition. So pronoun is used to replace a noun to avoid repetition. So I want to give you some examples. So we have, instead of saying John plays football, you can say he plays football. So what is the pronoun in this sentence? He is the pronoun. So let me also give another example. For example, Israel is a tutor. Instead of saying Israel is a tutor, you can say he is a tutor. And he is the pronoun. It is used to replace the noun, which is Israel. So another example, we have Sarah is a good girl. Sarah is a good girl. So this Sarah is the noun. So if you want to replace it, what do? We change it to she. She is a girl. She is a good girl. So this she is a pronoun. So by now you should understand the definition and how to replace the noun with a pronoun. So let's dive into the function of pronoun. Functions of pronoun. So the number one function of pronoun is to avoid repetition. So instead of saying Israel is a tutor, Israel teaches JAMB students, you can say he is a tutor, he teaches JAMB students. And that brings us into the second one, which is it improves the flow of sentence. Pronoun improve the flow of sentence. So instead of repeating the sentence, like instead of saying Israel is a tutor, Israel teaches JAMB students, you just say it in the pronoun improve the flow of sentence by replacing the noun with he. He is a tutor, he teaches JAMB students. That is very simple, instead of repeating the noun and noun again. So let's move to the next functions of pronoun. The next function of pronoun is to identify the speaker. For example, if you say that Joshua, I want you guys to be very attentive here. Joshua and Dele love singing. And he likes food too much. So, for example, you can see this example, identify the speaker. This sentence, it says, Joshua and Dele love singing and he likes food too much. So, he likes food too much is referring to nobody. It's referring to no one, because how do we identify the person that likes food too much between Joshua and Dele? It is the pronoun that helps to identify the speaker, to identify who takes an action in the sentence. Who takes an action in the sentence? So how do we correct this action? How do we correct this sentence? Joshua and Dele love singing, and they also like food too much, and they like food too much. So by doing that, pronoun already identify the speaker. I know you should be able to understand well now the definition of pronoun and the function of pronoun. Pronoun is used to replace a noun, and it is used to avoid repetition. It also improves the flow of sentence, and it also identifies the speaker. So now we are diving into the most important part, where a lot of questions come down. And the next one is types of pronoun. Types of pronoun. We have up to 8 types of pronoun. So I want you guys to be very, very attentive. It is important to be very attentive so you don't miss out. So now we are diving into the types of pronoun. Types of pronoun. So the first type of pronoun we'll be talking about today is personal pronoun. That is very, very important. Personal pronoun. And what is the definition of personal pronoun? Personal pronoun refers to specific people or things. For example, we have he, she, I, you, it, they, we. They are all used for subject or verb. They are all used for subject or verb. It is not used for object, it is used for subject. She is used for subject, while are is used for object. I hope you know the difference now. She and are, she is referring to girl, while are is also referring to girl, but she is used for subject, while are is used for object. And how do we use it? You can say she is a girl. That she is representing the subject. Sarah is a girl. You can replace that Sarah with she. She is a girl. But for her, I am going to her place. I am going to Sarah's place. Sarah is a girl. I am going to her place. That Sarah can replace her in terms of object. Am I clear with that? So now, let's do some example on personal pronoun. So, but before that, let me list out the example of pronoun that are used for object. He, she, I, you, it, they, and we are used for subject. They are used for subject. So for object, we have her, we have him, we have you, we have us, and we also have me. So this is object. This is used for object. And why this is used for subject? He, she, I, you, it, they, and we are used for subject. So let me write out some example under personal pronoun. Example: he and I, and I want you to note this. I is always written in capital letter. I is always written in capital letter. So he and I saw her. He and I saw her. He is a pronoun. I is a pronoun. I hope you know that and is a preposition. Saw is a verb. Her is also a pronoun. But her is a pronoun used for object, while he and I are the subject. And is the preposition. Saw is the linking verb. Am I clear with that? So let me write out another example. Akin saw her and me. Akin saw her and me. Akin is a noun. I hope you know that. Saw is a verb linking Akin and her. And is a preposition, and me is a pronoun used for object. And I is also a pronoun used for I is used for object. Me is also used for object. While Akin is the noun. So let's move to the next type of pronoun, which is possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun. While I was treating my episode series on English language, for those that have not watched it at all, go and watch my episode series on English language. There, I treat a lot of questions on possessive pronoun. But I already said it that I'm going to take time to talk about possessive pronoun for those that did not understand while I was treating the question. So now is the time to understand possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun shows ownership, or possession. It shows ownership or possession. It shows ownership of a particular thing or possession. For example, let me give example of possessive pronoun. We have mine, ours, yours, is, ours. So these are the examples of possessive pronoun. So let me give example of sentence about possessive pronoun. We have the pen is mine. So which one is the possessive pronoun? Mine. The pen is mine. The pen is mine means that pen belongs to me. That pen belongs to me. Instead of saying that pen belongs to me, the pen is mine. You can see that this pronoun is making sentence smooth. So let me also give another example. You can say that this is my uncle's car. Uncle's car. You know, I already said in my episode for English language that this apostrophe S, it connotes possession. This is my uncle's car. It means that car belongs to my uncle. So we are moving to the next types of pronouns. So the next type of pronoun we'll be talking about is reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun. This is used when the subject and object are the same. So this is when you use the reflexive pronoun. So examples of reflexive pronoun include myself, herself, himself. It's not himself. Have you ever seen anything like himself? Have you ever seen? No. Himself. So himself is wrong. Himself. Herself. Themselves. Itself. So let's write out some example under reflexive pronoun. I did it myself. This is used because reflexive pronoun is used when the object and subject are the same. You can see in the sentence, I did it myself. The object and the subject are the same. Another one, she blamed herself for the mistake. So she is a pronoun for the subject. She is a pronoun for the subject. So it is reflexive pronoun. This is the reflexive pronoun herself. This is used when the subject and object are the same. She blamed herself for the mistake. She blamed herself for the mistake. So let's move to the next pronoun, which is demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun. Before we continue with demonstrative pronoun, so the example of reflexive pronoun that we have here, I don't want you to confuse it with possessive adjective. Possessive adjective. For example, my, are, is. For example, if you say my bag is here. This is a possessive adjective. Anytime the pronoun is coming before noun, it is a possessive adjective because this bag is the noun. I hope that is clear now. So these are possessive adjectives. Don't confuse it with reflexive pronoun. So now to demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun are used to point out specific things. Are used to point out specific things. So we have this, that, and we also have this and those. So the first one, this and that, are singular. They are singular pronoun. And this and those, they are plural pronoun. Plural pronoun. So we've talked about reflexive and demonstrative. Now let's move to the next type of pronoun. The next type of pronoun, it will be relative pronoun. But before that, the last one we just talked about is demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun. And I didn't give example on that. So let me give example on demonstrative pronoun. Example on demonstrative pronoun. You know, we have the singular and the plural. So you can say, this is my book. This is my book. And you can say, these are my shoes. Shoes. Why are you using this as a plural? Because the noun is also plural. Shoes is more than one. But you can see for this book is one. It is not pluralized. I hope I'm clear with that. So let's move to the next type, which is relative pronoun. Relative pronoun. And what do relative pronoun do? Relative pronoun connects a clause or a phrase to a noun. To a noun. Relative pronoun connects a clause or a phrase to a noun. So let me give example of relative pronoun. For example of relative pronoun include who, whom, whose, which, that. So I'm going to identify the pronoun, the one it belongs to, whether it is subject or object. So for who belongs to subject, and it is used for people. Whom, you can say, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who are you? It's referring to people. And for whom, it is used for object. And it is also referring to people or things. Next one, after this one is used for subject, while this one is used for object. For whose is used for possession. You can say, whose car is this? Whose car is this? And which is used for thing. You can say that Which color attire are you putting on? Which color attire are you putting on? That is referring to a particular thing, and that thing is the color attire. So that is referring to people. That is referring to people or things. So let me give example. First example, the book that I read is interesting. Is interesting. As you can see, that can refer to people or things. So let me give another example. The man who helped me is kind. Kind. Who can identify the pronoun? The pronoun is who, and it's also a relative pronoun. A relative pronoun. So let's move to the next type of pronoun. So let me just clean the board. So we can move to the next type of pronoun. So the next type of pronoun, it is very important. It is the one we'll be talking about now, which is the interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronoun. And what is interrogative pronoun? Interrogative pronoun is used to ask questions. It is used to ask questions, e.g., who, whose, which, what. You can say, what is your name? What is your name is a question. Is a question. So let me give examples under interrogative pronoun. What is your name? What is your name? That is a question. And you can ask another one. Whose phone is this? Whose phone is this? And interrogative pronoun always starts a sentence because we are asking a particular question. You can see, what is your name? Whose phone is this? So we are done with interrogative pronoun. So far, we've talked about personal pronoun, possessive pronoun, we've talked about demonstrative pronoun, we've talked about reflexive pronoun, we've talked about relative pronoun, and now we've discussed interrogative pronoun. As you all know, pronoun is used to replace a noun. I already discussed that earlier, and it makes sentence smoother, and it makes us avoid repetition of noun in a sentence. So let's move to the next type of pronoun. I already said earlier that we have 8 types of pronoun. So let's move to the next type of pronoun. The next type of pronoun we'll be talking about is indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun refers to non-specific people or things. It refers to non-specific people or things. E.g., we have someone, anyone, everyone, nobody, anybody. So these are the example of pronoun, but I'm not done. I'm still listing it. You also have nothing, is, either. So example of indefinite pronoun, we have someone, anyone, everyone, nobody, anybody, nothing, each, either. So these are the singular indefinite pronoun. Singular indefinite pronoun. So I'm going to be listing the plural indefinite pronouns. We have many. We have few. We have others. We have both. We have all. We have some. we have none, we have several. So these are the plural. Plural. You can see. Let me clean the board so we can write examples on indefinite pronoun. So example of indefinite pronoun include, we are talking about indefinite pronoun. Example of indefinite pronoun include, so for those that are jotting this down, make sure you write this down because I will soon clean it. Example of indefinite pronoun include many have tried. Many have tried. Someone knocked at the door. Someone knocked at the door. At the door. So this word many is the indefinite pronoun. Many have tried. So this many it simplifies plural. Many have tried. It means there are more than one. And anything more than one is no longer plural. It's no longer singular, but rather plural. Someone knocked at the door. Someone knocked at the door means a person, a particular person. And you can find it here that someone is classified under singular indefinite pronoun. So we are done with indefinite pronoun. We will be moving to the last type of pronoun, which is reciprocal pronoun. So let me clean the board so we can write it, can jot it down. I hope you've jot the example of indefinite pronoun. And if you are watching this video and you have not started jotting down notes, that is very wrong. Because once you watch the video finish, you may later forget it. But once you jot it down now, you can quickly check through your notes and read it anytime you didn't remember. So let's move to the last type of pronoun, reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun. And if you are watching the video up to this moment and you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. And if you have any comment, drop it in the comment section. I'll make sure I give you a response. So reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun, before I start explaining, is most asked areas in pronoun for exams, both in JAMB exam, WAEC exam, NECO exam. Question do comes a lot from reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronoun shows mutual action between two or more people. Reciprocal pronoun, it shows mutual action, and when they say mutual, it means friendly action, mutual action between two or more people. So e.g. we have each other, one another. So these are examples that we have. These are examples that we have under reciprocal pronoun, each other and one another. You can say Joshua and Tolu love each other. Joshua and Tolu love each other. So there is something I always explain when doing my episode series on English language. I always explain that each other is for two people, while one another is for two or more. So you can see Joshua and Tolu are just two. So let me give an example under one another. The three brothers cherish one another. The three brothers cherish one another. It cannot be brother because it is plural. The three. So it is more than one. So the three brothers cherish one another. And you can say Nigeria as a country loves one another. It is wrong to say each other because we that are in Nigeria, we are more than two. We are more than two. So since we are done now with types of pronoun, we talked about personal, possessive, reciprocal. We talked about demonstrative pronoun, we talked about reflexive pronoun, we talked also about interrogative pronoun. So guys, we are moving to the next one, which is subject and object pronoun. There are some pronouns you should use for subject, and there are some pronouns you should use for object. So guys, let's move to the next one, which is subject and object. Subject and object pronoun. Subjects are the one doing the action, while objects are the one receiving the action. So for those writing notes, subject pronoun are the one performing action in a sentence. Example, we have I, he, she, you, it, they. And we also have we. So let me give example on subject pronoun. She is my sister. She is my sister. So which one is the subject and which one is the object? She is the subject, while sister is the object, is the one receiving action. So another example, they went to the market. They went to the market. Which one is the subject? They. It is the one performing action. And they, once they connote three or more people. They connote three or more people. So let me also give another example. And market is the object, is the one receiving the action. We love reading. We love reading. And when they say we represent two people. We. Once it is they, it is more than two. So we love reading. We is the subject, while reading is the object, is the one receiving action. Let's move to the second part, which is the object pronoun. I am doing this segment so you can understand and so you don't misinterpret or so you don't misuse subject and object pronoun. So subject pronoun are the one receiving, the action performed by the subject. So example, we have me, you, him, her, it, us, them. For example, we and us is referring to two people, but we act as the subject while us act as the object. Am I clear with that? So let me use this as a sentence. Let me use one of these examples as a sentence. Number one, give the ball to me. Give the ball to me. Serves as the object. The second one, I saw him yesterday. I saw him yesterday. This him is what? Object. I is the subject. So, guys, we are done with subject and object pronoun. So far, we first talked about definition of pronoun. That's the foundation. Now we move to the types, the function of pronoun, where I talked about pronoun making sentence flow well and smooth, and pronoun avoid repetition. So we also moved to the next one, which is the types of pronoun, where we talked about 8 types of pronoun. And now we move next to the next one, which is subject and object pronoun. And I already explained that subject is the one performing the action, while object is the one receiving the action. So let's move to the next one. So guys, the next thing we'll be talking about is rules rules for correct pronoun usage. So the first rule to know is one, match pronoun to their antecedent. When I say antecedent, I mean a pronoun must agree in number and gender with the noun it replaces. So, for example, every student must bring their pen. And let me give another example. Every student must bring his or her pen. So, guys, look at these two examples and tell me the one that is correct. Every student must bring their pen and every student must bring his or her pen. The correct one is every student must bring his or her pen. Every student must bring their pen is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because this pronoun is singular and it must agree in number and gender with the noun it replaces. That is the number one. And that is the antecedent. When a pronoun agrees, it agrees in number and in gender with the noun it replaces. Singular pronoun, singular verb. Singular pronoun, singular noun. So let's move to the next rules for correct pronoun usage. So the next rules for correct pronoun usage is use subject pronoun after linking verb. I already said here that antecedent is the noun pronoun replaces. That is the meaning for antecedent. But for here, I already talked about subject pronoun earlier. So let me cite example. Let me give two examples so we can identify the one that is correct and the one that is wrong. It is me. And also the second is it is I. So identify the correct one and the wrong one. It is wrong to say it is me. Use subject pronoun after linking verb. And this brings us to verb. The next video I'll be dropping, it will be on verb. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. So once I drop the video, you'll be the first person to be notified and you'll be able to watch the video. So it is I is correct. It is wrong to say it is me. A lot of textbook, a lot of people use it is me. It is I is the correct answer and it is the formal English. For example, maybe they ask a question from you, maybe in the class, that who answered the question? A lot of people will say it is me. But it is me is what? It is me is wrong. That is what you can learn in Learn with Israel here. That is what you can learn in our channel. What you have been making mistake of for a long period of time, once you get to this channel, you will be corrected. So it is the correct answer. Maybe they ask a question from you. Are you Israel or are you Learn with Israel? Yes, it is I. That is the formal English. So let's move to the next one. So we've talked about matching the pronoun with antecedent, and we've also talked about using subject pronoun after linking verb. So the next one is be clear about what the pronoun refers to. Be clear about what the pronoun refers to. refers to. I know a lot of people will have stopped watching this video, but if you are still watching this video up to this moment and you watch the video to the end, make sure you watch the video to the end. There is no question coming from pronoun that you won't be able to answer, because after this note we are going to treat practice question. So back to this, be clear about what the pronoun refers to. You need to avoid ambiguous references, and let me give example on that. When Tom met James, he was happy. And the second one, when Tom met James, Tom was happy. So who can identify the one that is clear and the one that is unclear, the one that is wrong and the one that is correct? The first one, when Tom met James, he was happy. Who is he? Who was happy? Is it Tom or James? We don't know. That is why the first one is wrong. When Tom met James, he was happy. We don't know whether it is Tom that is happy, and we don't know whether it is James that is happy. So avoid ambiguous references. This is ambiguous references. It is not needed, because pronoun makes word easier. It makes word smoother. So let's check the second one. When Tom met James, Tom was happy. You see, this second one makes us understand the person that was happy. So it is Tom that was happy. So the second one is the correct answer. Be clear about what the pronoun refers to. Is it referring to Tom or referring to James? So let's move to the last part for rules for correct pronoun usage. So the next one is compound subject or object. Compound subject or object. So we should always use the correct case in compound structure. You need to use the correct case in compound structure. So how do we do that? Let me give some example on that. John and I are ready. Second one, she gave the gift to John and what? And me. So which one is the correct subject and which one is the correct object? The correct subject is John and I. You know, I said earlier that I is the subject, is the one carrying out the action. John and I are ready. So this is the correct subject. So we need to know how to use the correct case for the compound subject or object. The second one, she gave the gift John and me. It is wrong to say she gave the gift to John and I. Why is it wrong to say that? Because she is already the subject, and John and me is the one receiving the action, which are the object. And I, the reason why we cannot use I also here is because I is the subject. You can say I gave the gift to John. I is the subject. I cannot serve as the object. It is me that represents I as the object. So it is the correct object is she gave the gift to John and me. So that is the correct object. So now let's move to the common error in pronoun. We need to know the common error in pronoun. So when we come across any question under pronoun, we'll be able to identify the errors. So let's dive into that now. Common mistakes in pronoun. So the first mistake we'll be considering is, number one, is he is taller than me. He is taller than me. And that one is taller is taller than I. He is taller than I. The correct one is he is taller than I. It is wrong to use he and me together. You use he and the I must be in capital letter. So the first one is wrong, and the second one is the correct. He is taller than I. Let's move to the second one. Me and my brother went to school. And we also have my brother and I went to school. My brother and I went to school. So it is wrong to say me and my brother went to school. The correct one is my brother and I. It is also wrong to say I and my brother. I should come second. It is wrong to say I and my brother. The right one is my brother and I went to school. Went to school. So let's check the last one. The third one is they did it by themselves. And they did it by themselves. By themselves. What is different there is themselves and themselves. It is wrong to say themselves. Because of what? Because it's more than a single person. Self means one person, one particular person, but once it is more than one, it is themselves. They already let us know that they are more than one. So they did it by themselves is the appropriate answer. So since we are done now with common mistake in pronoun, we'll be diving into practice questions. If you want to leave this video, don't leave now. Stay tuned to the end. So these are the practice questions. Question 1. Dan and Tina met on the ship and greeted dash. A. One another. B. Themselves. C. Each other. D. Theirselves. When treating the types of noun, especially when doing reciprocal pronoun, I mentioned about each other and one another. That each other is used for two people and one another is used for three or more. As you can see, we have two people in the sentence. Dan and Tina met on the ship and greeted each other. Each other. Question 2. The African extended family system gives security to dash members. A is members, B are members, C its members, D their member. So the African here, it doesn't tell us the gender. So we are going to go with non-person. And when I say non-person, I mean it. It does not refer whether it is a male or female. The African extended family system gives security to its members. Its members. So let's move to the next practice question. So before we continue the question, look at this number right here. If you are interested in tutorial or mentorship, just share this number right here on WhatsApp so we can get to it. Question 3. The physicians have more people in dash. The physician have more people in dash waiting rooms than dash. A is or he, B there or they, C there or they, D them or they. The physician have, let's start from option D. The physician have more people in them waiting room. That is grammatically incorrect. Option C. The physicians have more people in their rooms than they. Let's check option B. The physicians have more people in their room, in their waiting rooms than they. Option A. The physicians have more people in his waiting rooms or than he. It's also wrong. Option B is wrong. The most appropriate is option C. Option C. The physicians have more people in their waiting rooms. In their waiting rooms than they. This there connotes the plural pronoun. The plural pronoun. Because we already know that they are not one person, they are more than as you can see, the physician have more people, so it should the pronoun here should be pluralized. It should be pluralized. So let's move to question 4. Baba and Dash participated in tournament. A, him, B, is, C, he, D, he is. He is. So Baba and he is participated in tournament is wrong. Baba and he participated in tournament. Baba and is participated in tournament is also wrong. Baba and him participated in tournament is also wrong. It's also wrong. You end it with he. Baba and he participated in tournament. I know some people use Baba and him, but that's wrong. Baba and he participated in tournament. So let's move to the last question. So guys, I want you to answer this question and drop it in the comment section right now. Answer it and drop it in the comment section. This is the man that house was robbed. A, who, B, whose, C, whom, D, that. I hope you know that this question should deal with pronoun on possession. So drop the answer in the comment section. So now we've come to the end of this video. So far we talked about the definition of pronoun, the function, and how it makes sentence smoother. We also talked about the type, and we talked about the rules of using pronoun, and we talked about the common mistake or common error in pronoun. And now the last part is the practice question. So by now you should be able to understand pronoun and use them well. You should be able to understand the types and make sure you practice more questions on pronoun. And if you have not watched the video on nouns, make sure you watch it now, because that's where the foundation of the part of speech starts from. Make sure you go and watch the video on nouns. It's already on my channel. Watch it now and see you in the next one. Keep learning and keep practicing.